Hello everyone, my name is Samantha Versick and welcome back to Blacklisted Technology. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about how to find a mentor, why they are helpful, and where you can find one. First, we're going to talk about why are mentors helpful. So mentors are helpful, especially at the beginning of your career, but really they are helpful throughout your career, depending on how you evaluate the mentor and how well you guys communicate. They help you understand what it takes to have a professional relationship and how it's not always just about what you need, but also how you can help them. When you first meet with a mentor, I recommend always getting them a cup of coffee because they're taking their time out of their day to help you grow and learn as an individual. And just by giving back a little bit, it really makes a huge difference. Mentors are extremely helpful, especially when navigating the corporate world. Usually, you would have to spend X amount of time at a certain position before moving up. Although, if you have a mentor within the company that's higher up who you have been working for the past year, when they know that they have a position opening, the first person that's going to come to mind is you because they already know what a hard worker you are and how dedicated you are to your job. Therefore, it's helpful to have a mentor to grow these connections so that when individuals are looking to hire, the first person they think about is you. Now I'm going to go over how to evaluate a mentor. Now this is extremely important, especially when first trying to find a mentor, because not every single person is going to be the perfect mentor for you. It's difficult when starting out, and I remember I met with a couple different mentors and I found that some of them were a little bit off or maybe didn't have the same communication style as me or the same morals, and it's very important that all of these align, especially because you don't just want a mentor that you're going to have for a month. You want a mentor that you're going to grow with and ask for advice from them for years to come. So it's really important to find someone that aligns with your values and goals. Next, it's really important to find someone that you actually want to be like. It's important because you don't want to have a mentor who's completely different than you and in an entirely different field because they're not going to help you as much as someone who has the tailored experience to work in your field. And I found, especially with my mentor, who is extremely helpful and I always look up to, I want to be like him. And in the future, I want to achieve the same goals that he has already gone through. So I think it's really important when you're trying to find a mentor to find someone that you actually want to be like in the future. Now, the most important thing when evaluating a mentor is to ask for feedback. Ask for feedback on how you can achieve your goals and how you can bypass different lessons that they have already gone through. This is extremely important because it shows that you're engaging with them and care about the advice that they're giving to you and that you're listening to them. It's also extremely important to follow up. It's important to always thank your mentor at the end of the conversation and not just forget about it and maybe 6 months later you send them a message. It's important to be consistent and always follow up. Now, finally, what we've all been waiting for. How can you find a mentor? Now, I found this extremely difficult in my case because I was moving from Rome to Scottsdale, Arizona. So I was in a complete new area, and the communication style here is very different than it is abroad. So, what you need to do first is put yourself out there. I know in my situation, I was very scared because I didn't necessarily want to put myself out there to find the help that I need in order to succeed. The first place I would look for a mentor is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is extremely helpful, especially because they have everyone's work history prior as well as recommendations at the bottom. So you can really get a feel for what type of person they are. Are they a person who likes to help others? Are they a person who is a hard worker and has achieved XYZ? So really go through people's LinkedIn and see, is this the type of person that I want to be like? So it's really important to ask these questions and then reach out to them on LinkedIn and introduce yourself. Now, it's very important, especially when beginning, not to just right away say, hello, can you be my mentor? That's not going to be successful at all. I would recommend first saying, hello, my name is, and just introduce yourself, as well as when they make posts or if they have job updates, just like them, comment on them, and say congratulations. So be interactive with their social media posts. And then maybe after a week or two of being their friend and engaging with them, say, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is what I need help with. I'm looking for someone to give me the advice that I need in order to achieve my goals. I was wondering if you wanted to get coffee on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So create a date. Don't just go out there and say, I want you to be my mentor. That's not helpful. But if you actually create a date and time, you're more likely to get their engagement and for them to be like, okay, yeah, I can meet for coffee and I'm more than happy to help you. So I think that is what's most effective, especially when reaching out to potential mentors on LinkedIn. It's also extremely effective to go to different meetups. So let's say you work in technology, then go to different tech meetings or even a code meetups are extremely helpful, and reach out to the individuals, ask them about their lives, where they came from, and what goals they want to achieve in the future. And get their contact information and reach out to them at a later date, maybe 1 or 2 days later, and say, hey, I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm looking for a mentor. Can we meet on this day? So if you go to these meetups and put yourself out there, it will be effective. It's just making that first step of pushing yourself out through the door. Finally, the last two recommendations are different websites to find mentors. First is going to be findamentor.com, and the second one is going to be Bumble, which sounds very surprising, although they do have an entrepreneur section of their application where you can match with different professionals. Now, when using Bumble, you need to be able to effectively evaluate different mentors because some of them are going to have weird profiles that you're going to look at and you're going to be like, they're asking for weird information. So you need to be able to evaluate and be like, that's not who I'm looking for. But they're also going to have many individuals who are actually just looking for mentors or looking for mentees and want to put themselves out there and find people, especially because nowadays everything is online and meeting people oftentimes is through applications, especially during quarantine where it's extremely hard. Now that I've gone over why mentors are helpful, how to effectively evaluate a mentor, and a couple places on where you can find a mentor, I'm going to speak about what I experienced, especially when finding a mentor as a female in technology. So when I first started, it was extremely difficult finding a mentor, especially as a woman in technology. I found I had to go through a lot of hurdles and had to ask extra questions from them in order to ensure my safety, especially because many times when you're finding a mentor, you're going to find professional individuals, although sometimes you're going to run into people who don't have good intentions. And I did find that a couple times, but I was able to effectively create boundaries. As a woman in any field, really, it's difficult to navigate mentorships because sometimes people will come on to you and it makes it difficult because you're trying to come to them for professional advice and to advance your career, and they try to take advantage of that situation. So I think the most important thing, if you do run into this like I did, is just to say, no, this is not okay, and set boundaries. And from there, I would not recommend moving forward with the mentorship. But that's just something I experienced. I know a ton of other women have experienced this as well. But even though you're going to run into a couple mentors that aren't going to be good, you're also going to run into hundreds that are going to be great mentors and are just going to want to help you. That concludes today's video. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Make sure to subscribe down below, like this video, as well as follow me on Blacklisted Technology and check out my app at black-listed on the iOS App Store. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to the next video.